One of the things we absolutely love to see are these roundabout stories in the NHL, where an asset gets moved from a team to another team, and maybe they get sent to a third team, sometimes even a fourth team, but eventually they find themselves back full circle on their original squad. We see this happen with players sometimes. We see draft picks get swapped around once in a while. But in today's video, what I wanted to do was focus on how the Calgary Flames traded away Tyler Toffoli for their own draft pick, pretty much. Now, the pick in question, the one that started up this video, is the 80th overall pick by the Flames at the 2023 NHL Entry Draft. This draft pick was used to select Adar Suniev, who's a player out of the Penticton Vs here in the BCHL. And I say here because, I'm in Vancouver, so BCHL Junior A hockey in BC. This is the primary league just under Major Junior, which is the WHL, so the BCHL is a tad below. But Suniev is a very interesting pickup and one that I honestly like a lot for the Calgary Flames. He's 18 years old, born out of Russia, 6'2", 192 as a left-handed left-wing guy, and in this most previous season in the BCHL, he had 90 points in 50 games played. 23 points in 15 games in the postseason as well. Suniev was a point-per-game stud, near double points per game. We had talked about this in a few other videos in regards to Junior A, BCHL type competition, but when it comes to these draft-eligible players out of the BCHL, you kind of need to show off extraordinarily well in order to get noticed. And while Suniev doesn't have the same top-tier potential like a Tyson Jost or an Alex Newhook did, or even Kent Johnson, guys that were also drafted out of this league, his point production and skills were put on full display, which is why he was taken in the third round. This is the scouting report on Suniev on Elite Prospects. He's a crafty, playmaking type forward, a manipulator when he grabs retrievals, and it's not uncommon to see him create deception with his feet, sending players flying. He opens his hips to make lateral pushes to the inside or slip pressure, and his puck protection ability, particularly how he shields the puck and keeps his balance, makes him a strong monster along the boards. This is a very skilled forward with some bite and size to his game. And when it comes to Suniev, I have no doubt that as his career goes on, he's going over to UMass in the NCAA, so we'll see how he's able to do there. The Calgary Flames and their fan base are going to have a lot to cheer for. However, as we had noted, this 80th overall pick was not actually Calgary's at the beginning of the year, I guess you could say. Because this draft pick, 80th overall, the Calgary Flames' own third-round pick, was actually sent away from Calgary to Seattle 1 year ago in March of 2022. This was the Calle Jarnkrok trade, and I'm pretty sure most Flames fans remember last year your team was very good. You got some assets in the trade deadline period to help out your team. Calle Jarnkrok was a very good versatile forward that was added onto your squad. And in exchange, the Seattle Kraken grabbed themselves a second from Florida that was acquired in the Sam Bennett trade, and this third-round pick from Calgary. There also was a 2024 seventh, but that has not been used yet. The Kraken still hold on to that one. So the Kraken, for a period of time, were in possession of Calgary's third in 2023. However, this was not used by them, because in July of 2022, the Seattle Kraken traded this Calgary pick away to the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for Oliver Bjorkstrand. He's a guy that went over to Seattle and helped them out tremendously. Bjorkstrand had a very solid season, 45 points, 81 games played. Sure, it was a slight downgrade from the production he was able to have with the Columbus Blue Jackets, but when it comes to the way the Blue Jackets were filling out, they kind of had an odd man out, which is why Bjorkstrand was even traded away in the first place. But either way, Bjorkstrand was sent over to Seattle. He was a part of a very good top six, very diverse top six as well. And the Columbus Blue Jackets get themselves that second and an extra fourth on top of that to make the deal happen. Give it 1 year later, and eventually this second-round pick, which initially was the Calgary Flames pick, now in Columbus's possession, was sent over to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for defenseman Damon Severson. Now, Severson is a very good defenseman himself, and the reason he went for so cheap is because he needed a contract. The guy was expiring as a UFA, and because the Devils did not feel comfortable in re-signing him to the dollar amount that he wanted, nor was there going to be an extended role for Severson. They traded his rights away to Columbus for a pretty cheap return. Third-round pick, that's it, and the Blue Jackets re-signed Severson to a $6.25 million AAV deal for 8 years. In fact, it was kind of a sign-and-trade type of thing, because the trade and the extension got done on the same day, but either way, this third-round pick from Calgary to Seattle, from Seattle to Columbus, and now from Columbus to New Jersey, this pick had traveled quite a few miles over the span of the last year. And then, you know how everything comes back around, because the Tyler Toffoli trade ended up taking place just a little bit after that. I think it was like 3 weeks later, you had yourselves the Toffoli trade. And this is the return. Igor Sharangovich, the signing rights to him, as well as the Calgary pick at 80th overall. Everything went full circle here as the Calgary Flames traded away their own third. This third got passed around to 3 other teams before finding itself back in the possession of the Flames, wherein they used it to draft Suniev, whom I'm going to say is a pretty good prospect, but is a guy that was sort of following this very cool path. And so at the end of the day, when it comes to that trade initially that we talked about, the Tyler Toffoli trade, I said it at the beginning that this was kind of a moment of the Flames being pushed down by circumstances. Tyler Toffoli was in a position where we sort of knew he didn't want to resign, he didn't want to come back long-term with the Calgary Flames, especially at his age, and with the situation of the Flames right now. So hearing that he got sent over to New Jersey, and now the rumors are saying that he wants to stick around there, it makes a lot of sense. He's going to be the first player in NHL history, I believe, to play with all 3 of the Hughes brothers, because he's going to get Jack and Luke later this season. He has already played with Quinn. That's a funny coincidence now, isn't it? Actually, you might be able to say somebody else. I think Jimmy Vesey actually might have that covered. Oh wait, no, but Jimmy Vesey did not play with Luke, right, because Luke only debuted at the end of this previous season. Jimmy Vesey was a Ranger by then. Okay, so Tyler Toffoli is going to be the first player to play with all 3 Hughes brothers, and he comes over to New Jersey in a trade which allows the Flames to get their own draft pick back. It's kind of funny how all of the storylines converge together, and ultimately I feel like most of the teams involved actually got away with a win of some sorts. Calle Jarnkrok was somewhat effective for the Calgary Flames, Oliver Bjorkstrand was solid for the Seattle Kraken, Damon Severson is going to be a good defenseman in Columbus, and Tyler Toffoli, as we know, is going to be good. Toffoli brought Mercer, Hughes, Hischier, and who else? Timo Meier. Like, this Devils squad is going to be so good, and Toffoli is going to be a part of that. Nice to see him doing his thing. Of course, Igor Sharangovich heading over to Calgary is going to be pretty good too, but you're losing out on Tyler Toffoli, which is not your fault because you wanted to leave, but yeah, you have to make do with the best that you can. And getting this draft pick in return to select Suniev is a pretty good get. I'm pretty sure a lot of Flames fans are going to be following his career closely, especially since if you're here in BC, like I am, watching the BCHL guys do their thing, watching Suniev on the Vs do his thing as well, as we had said, 90 points, 50 games, it's a pretty good amount in the BCHL. It's going to be nice to see him in UMass hopefully doing his thing. So if you're a fan of the Calgary Flames, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Calgary trading away their second for Calle Jarnkrok and eventually getting this draft pick back in the Tyler Toffoli trade? In a way, it's kind of like you swapped out Toffoli for a little bit of Jarnkrok plus this extra player in Sharangovich. It's kind of funny to take a look at it like that. But of course, just seeing the carousel of the draft pick is why I wanted to make this video today. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below how everything goes down. Also, if you're a Devils fan, what are your thoughts about Tyler Toffoli on your team? We've already made a few videos just going over his potential, but long story short, I like him a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.